The moment humanity received the first signals from the Zorathians, the world was irrevocably changed. It started with a faint, rhythmic pattern detected by deep space listening stations, a sequence too structured to be natural. Governments, scientists, and media outlets buzzed with speculation and excitement. In a matter of weeks, a delegation was formed, led by Dr. Lydia Cross, a renowned astrophysicist and diplomat, along with a select team of linguists, engineers, and military advisors. The rendezvous point was a neutral zone in the Alpha Centauri system, chosen for its relative proximity to both civilizations. As the human delegation's sleek vessel approached the designated coordinates, they were met by a majestic Zorathian cruiser, its surface shimmering with bioluminescent patterns. The Zorathians, tall and slender with iridescent skin and multifaceted eyes, were an awe-inspiring sight. Their leader, High Consul Zendar, greeted the humans with a solemn nod, their communication facilitated by an advanced translation device. The initial exchange was cautious but cordial. Dr. Cross and High Consul Zendar discussed the potential for mutual learning and cooperation, emphasizing their shared values of peace and exploration. The Zorathians were intrigued by humanity's rapid technological advancement and adaptability, while humans marveled at the Zorathians' sophisticated technology and deep-rooted spiritualism. The threat of the Vorlok became apparent shortly after first contact. Reports from outer colonies and allied trading vessels painted a grim picture. Entire star systems decimated, their resources plundered by the relentless Vorlok. These encounters were unlike any humanity or the Zorathians had faced before, brutal, efficient, and utterly merciless. Recognizing the existential threat posed by the Vorlok, humanity and the Zorathians decided to form a formal alliance. The United Earth Government and the Zorathian Council convened a historic summit on the orbital station of Elysium Prime, a neutral ground equipped with state-of-the-art security measures. Delegates from both civilizations, including top military strategists, scientists, and diplomats, gathered in the station's grand conference hall. The atmosphere was charged with a mix of urgency and cautious optimism. General Marcus Raynor, a decorated human military leader, and Admiral Zendar, the Zorathian fleet commander, took charge of the discussions. "We face a common enemy," General Raynor began, his voice resonating with authority. "An enemy that seeks to annihilate everything we hold dear. To stand a chance, we must combine our strengths, our technological advancements, tactical acumen, and most importantly, our will to survive." Admiral Zendar nodded in agreement, their multifaceted eyes reflecting determination. "The Vorlok are unlike any foe we've encountered. Their hive-like coordination and sheer ferocity are formidable. But together, we can create a force capable of resisting and ultimately defeating them." Strategic plans were laid out, detailing joint training programs, resource sharing, and intelligence gathering. Human engineers worked alongside Zorathian scientists to integrate their technologies, creating hybrid weapons and defense systems. Meanwhile, soldiers from both races underwent rigorous training to understand each other's combat styles and foster camaraderie. The alliance extended beyond the military sphere. Cultural exchange programs were initiated to build mutual respect and understanding. Human and Zorathian artists, scholars, and diplomats traveled between worlds, sharing their histories, art, and philosophies. These efforts helped to solidify the bond between the two races, creating a sense of unity that would be crucial in the battles to come. General Marcus Raynor and Admiral Zendar worked tirelessly to merge their distinct military doctrines into a cohesive strategy. The Zorathians, with their superior technology and centuries of peaceful tradition, had much to learn from humanity's experience with conflict and resilience under pressure. Training regimens were rigorous and relentless. Human and Zorathian soldiers trained side by side in grueling simulations designed to replicate Vorlok tactics. Captain Laura Hayes, a seasoned Marine with a reputation for toughness, took charge of the ground forces. Her counterpart, Commander Valar, a Zorathian known for their calm precision, led the aerial and space combat training. "Listen up," Captain Hayes barked during a joint exercise. "We need to be a single unit out there. The Vorlok won't hesitate, and neither can we. Trust your partner, understand their moves, and we'll get through this." Zorathian soldiers, initially hesitant about the intensity of human training, gradually embraced it. They admired the human spirit, the unwavering determination that seemed to fuel their every action. This blend of human tenacity and Zorathian discipline started to show promising results, as the two forces synchronized their movements and tactics. Meanwhile, engineers from both races collaborated on upgrading their fleets. Human ingenuity and Zorathian advanced materials led to the creation of hybrid ships with unparalleled speed, firepower, and defensive capabilities. Dr. Mei Ling, a brilliant human engineer, and Taral, a Zorathian scientist, spearheaded these efforts, their combined expertise pushing the boundaries of what was thought possible. "We're not just building ships," Dr. Ling explained during a briefing. "We're building hope. Each vessel we send out there is a testament to our combined strength and determination to survive." As the final preparations were underway, a sense of unity and shared purpose permeated the ranks. The soldiers knew that the impending battles would test their limits, but they also believed in their collective strength. They were ready to face the Vorlok with everything they had. The night before the first major engagement, the humans performed their pre-battle rituals, a deeply ingrained tradition meant to bolster morale and forge an unbreakable bond among soldiers. The Zorathians, ever curious and respectful of human customs, observed with a mixture of intrigue and apprehension. In the central hangar of Elysium Prime, human soldiers gathered in a large circle. The dim lighting and the echoes of distant machinery set a somber tone. Each soldier wore their battle gear, helmets off, faces set with grim determination. Captain Laura Hayes stepped into the center, holding a ceremonial blade. "Tonight we stand together," she began, her voice resonating through the space. "As brothers and sisters, as allies. We fight for each other, for our homes, for our future." She passed the blade around, each soldier making a small cut on their forearm, letting a few drops of blood fall into a communal bowl. This act, symbolic of their shared sacrifice, was an ancient tradition dating back to humanity's earliest wars. The bowl was then lifted, and each soldier dipped their fingers into the blood, marking their faces with streaks of red. The Zorathians, watching from the periphery, were both fascinated and unsettled by this ritual. High Consul Zendar and Commander Valar stood among their troops, their expressions reflecting a deep respect for the human practices, even if they did not fully understand them. Admiral Zendar addressed their own soldiers. "The humans have a saying, 'In unity, there is strength.' We have seen their resolve, their willingness to stand for one another. We must embrace this spirit if we are to prevail against the Vorlok." In another part of the station, human and Zorathian engineers performed a different kind of ritual, ensuring that every piece of equipment was in perfect working order. Dr. Mei Ling led her team in a chant, an old engineering tradition meant to bring good fortune and success. The Vorlok fleet arrived at Delta 9 with the force of a hurricane. Their ships, dark and menacing, emerged from hyperspace in perfect formation, each vessel bristling with weaponry and shielded by impenetrable energy fields. Alarms blared across the Alliance Command Center as the enemy's presence was confirmed. General Marcus Raynor and Admiral Zendar stood side by side, overseeing the deployment of their combined fleet. Human and Zorathian ships, now a seamless blend of both technologies, moved into defensive positions. The human frigates and Zorathian cruisers formed a protective wall around the outpost, their weapons primed and ready. "All units prepare for engagement," General Raynor commanded, his voice steady and resolute. The first shots were fired, a blazing exchange of laser beams and plasma bolts that lit up the cold vacuum of space. The Vorlok, true to their ruthless reputation, charged headlong into the fray. Their initial assault targeted the outermost defense lines, overwhelming several human frigates within moments. Captain Laura Hayes, aboard the frontline battleship Resolute, directed her crew with precision. "Focus fire on the lead destroyer. We need to break their formation." On her mark, a volley of missiles and energy blasts converged on the Vorlok ship, breaching its shields and tearing through its hull. The vessel erupted in a brilliant explosion, but the victory was short-lived as more Vorlok ships pressed the attack. The Zorathian fighters, led by Commander Villar, swooped in to intercept the enemy bombers aiming for the outpost itself. Their sleek, agile ships weaved through the chaos, unleashing devastating plasma beams that cut through the Vorlok ranks. Despite their efforts, the Vorlok's relentless assault began to take its toll. Admiral Zendar monitored the unfolding battle with a calm yet intense focus. "Reinforce the left flank," they ordered. "We cannot allow them to breach our defenses." Zorathian and human forces worked in unison, covering each other's weaknesses and capitalizing on their strengths. The combined might of their hybrid technology started to show as they managed to halt the Vorlok advance, at least temporarily. But the enemy was far from defeated. As the battle raged on, the Vorlok deployed their secret weapon, a massive dreadnought, bristling with advanced weaponry and nearly impenetrable armor. It loomed over the battlefield like a harbinger of doom, targeting the Alliance's command ships with surgical precision. General Rayner knew that this dreadnought had to be neutralized to turn the tide. "Prepare the experimental railguns," he ordered. "We need to take that beast down, or we lose Delta 9. The Alliance ships adjusted their positions, creating an opening for the Resolute to aim its powerful new weapon. The railgun charged with a high-pitched whine, and Captain Hayes waited for the perfect moment to fire. When the dreadnought's shields flickered during an attack, she gave the order. A massive projectile shot from the railgun, traveling at incredible speed. It punched through the dreadnought's weakened shields and struck its core, causing a chain reaction. The dreadnought shuddered and then exploded in a cataclysmic blast, taking several nearby Vorlok ships with it. With the dreadnought destroyed, the Vorlok fleet began to falter. The combined forces of the Alliance pressed their advantage, picking off the remaining enemy ships one by one. The tide had turned, and the Vorlok, realizing they were outmatched, began to retreat. General Rayner and Admiral Zendar stood in the command center, surveying the damage. The once pristine outpost was scarred by the battle, debris floating in the void, and fires still burning on several ships. "We held the line," General Rayner said, his voice filled with a mix of relief and exhaustion. Admiral Zendar nodded. "But at great cost. We must honor those who fell today and ensure their sacrifices were not in vain." In the makeshift infirmary, human and Zorathian medics worked tirelessly side by side, treating injuries and stabilizing critical patients. The sight of both races helping each other reinforced the bond that had formed between them. Captain Hayes, with a bandaged arm and a weary smile, visited her injured crew, offering words of encouragement and gratitude. In the days following the battle, the Alliance forces took stock of their losses and victories. Strategic debriefings were held to analyze the engagement and refine their tactics. The Vorlok had proven to be a formidable foe, but the Alliance's resilience and unity had made the difference. The Zorathians, deeply affected by the human rituals they had witnessed before the battle, began to adopt similar practices. Small gestures of camaraderie and shared moments of reflection became commonplace among their troops. High Consul Zendar even led a ceremonial gathering, mirroring the human tradition, to honor the fallen and strengthen their resolve. Amid the repairs and mourning, there was a growing sense of hope. The victory at Delta 9 was a testament to the power of cooperation and the strength of their alliance. Plans were laid for future offensives, with renewed determination to push back the Vorlok and secure a lasting peace. In the command center, General Rayner and Admiral Zendar continued to refine their strategies, knowing that the war was far from over. But they also knew that together, they had the strength to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The battle had forged an unbreakable bond between humans and Zorathians, a bond that would guide them through the trials to come. With the victory at Delta 9 under their belts, the Alliance knew they had to capitalize on their momentum. The Vorlok had been pushed back, but their threat loomed large over the galaxy. High Command convened a strategy session, gathering the best minds from both human and Zorathian ranks. General Rayner and Admiral Zendar led the discussions, joined by Dr. Lydia Cross, Captain Hayes, and other key officers. The room buzzed with energy as holographic projections displayed star maps, fleet movements, and intelligence reports. "We need to strike at their heart," General Rayner said, pointing to a cluster of red dots on the map. Their main fleet supply depots and shipyards are located in the Targo system. If we can disrupt their supply lines and destroy their shipyards, we can cripple their war effort. Dr. Cross, who had been instrumental in deciphering Vorlok communications, stepped forward. We've intercepted transmissions indicating that the Vorlok leadership is highly centralized. Targeting their command centers in the Targo system could cause significant disruption. Admiral Zendar nodded thoughtfully. A coordinated strike will require precise timing and flawless execution. We will need to gather more intelligence to ensure the success of such a daring operation. To this end, the Alliance decided to deploy their best operatives deep into Vorlok territory. Lieutenant Sarah Vallon, a human intelligence officer known for her resourcefulness and bravery, was chosen to lead the mission. She would be accompanied by Liana, a Zorathian spy with unparalleled stealth capabilities. Upon entering Vorlok space, the duo began their reconnaissance. They moved with precision and caution, avoiding patrols and automated defenses. The Targo system was heavily fortified, with numerous orbital platforms, patrol fleets, and defense satellites. Mapping out these defenses was crucial to the success of the Alliance's planned strike. Using specialized drones, Valen and Liana gathered detailed images and data. They identified key supply depots, shipyards, and command centers. Each bit of information brought them closer to completing their mission, but also increased the risk of detection. Their luck ran out when a stray signal from one of the drones was detected by a Vorlok patrol. Alarms blared as enemy ships converged on their location. Valen and Liana quickly recalled the drones and initiated evasive maneuvers. Their ship darted through the debris fields and asteroid belts, but the Vorlok were relentless in their pursuit. "Hold on," Valen called out, as she pushed the ship's engines to their limit. Liana worked frantically at the controls, deploying countermeasures and jamming signals to throw off their pursuers. Despite their best efforts, a Vorlok cruiser managed to land a glancing hit on their ship, damaging the cloaking device. Realizing they couldn't outrun their enemies forever, Valen made a bold decision. "We need to hide. There's a dense asteroid field ahead. If we can lose them in there, we might have a chance." They plunged into the asteroid field, weaving between massive rocks and dodging deadly collisions. The Vorlok ships followed, but the dense terrain worked to the operatives' advantage. Using their intimate knowledge of the ship's capabilities and the environment, Valen and Liana managed to evade their pursuers and find a temporary hiding spot. With the immediate threat averted, they set about repairing their ship. Time was of the essence, as they needed to get the intelligence back to the Alliance command. Working together, they patched up the damaged systems and recalibrated the cloaking device. It was a race against time, but their determination saw them through. Once their ship was operational again, they carefully plotted a course back to Alliance space, avoiding the heavy patrols and fortified zones. The journey back was tense, but they managed to slip through the Vorlok defenses undetected. The Alliance fleet assembled at Elysium Prime, a formidable armada of hybrid ships combining human and Zorathian technology. Engineers and technicians worked around the clock to ensure that every vessel was in peak condition. In the command center, General Rayner and Admiral Zendar finalized their battle plans, reviewing the data and refining their tactics. "We'll split our forces into 3 groups," General Rayner explained. "The first group will engage the Vorlok fleet head-on, drawing their attention away from the primary targets. The second group will focus on destroying the supply depots and shipyards. The third group, our elite strike force, will infiltrate and dismantle their command centers." Admiral Zendar added, "Timing and coordination will be crucial. We must strike swiftly and decisively before the Vorlok can regroup and counterattack." Captain Hayes and Commander Villar were chosen to lead the elite strike force, given their proven track records and the trust they had earned among their troops. Their mission was to infiltrate the heavily fortified command centers, disable the defenses, and neutralize the Vorlok leadership. As the fleet approached the Targo system, the tension was palpable. The Vorlok were waiting, their formidable fleet arrayed in defensive formations around the key installations. The Alliance fleet split into its designated groups, each moving with precision and purpose. The initial engagement was fierce. The first group, led by Captain Hayes, charged into the fray, unleashing a torrent of firepower that caught the Vorlok by surprise. The sky lit up with the exchange of laser beams and plasma bolts, and the space around Targos became a chaotic battleground. Simultaneously, the second group targeted the supply depots and shipyards. Dr. Mei Ling's engineering brilliance shone through as specialized missiles and sabotage drones wreaked havoc on the Vorlok infrastructure. Explosions rippled through the enemy installations, reducing critical facilities to rubble. Meanwhile, the elite strike force, piloted by Captain Hayes and Commander Villar, slipped through the chaos and approached the main Vorlok command center. The mission was perilous, with enemy fighters and automated defenses posing constant threats. However, their combined skills and the element of surprise allowed them to breach the defenses. Inside the command center, the strike force moved with deadly efficiency. They neutralized the guards and hacked into the mainframe, accessing critical systems. Commander Villar coordinated the attacks on key nodes, disabling communication and command protocols, while Captain Hayes led her team in a daring assault on the Vorlok leaders. The destruction of the command center's core systems was the final blow that broke the Vorlok's resolve. As the command structure collapsed, the remaining Vorlok forces were thrown into disarray. Panic spread through their ranks as they realized their leaders were no longer in control. Seizing the opportunity, General Rayner ordered the Alliance fleet to intensify their assault. All units, focus fire on the remaining enemy vessels. Do not give them a chance to regroup. The Alliance ships, now operating with flawless coordination, pressed their attack. The hybrid technology gave them a decisive edge, allowing them to outmaneuver and outgun the Vorlok ships. The enemy fleet, already weakened by the loss of their command center, began to fall apart. Captain Hayes and Commander Villar, having secured the command center, transmitted a signal to the rest of the fleet. "This is Hayes. The command center is down. Repeat, the command center is down. Engage at will." The Alliance forces redoubled their efforts, targeting the remaining Vorlok strongholds with precision strikes. The destruction of the supply depots and shipyards had already crippled the enemy's ability to sustain their war effort. Now, the relentless assault on their fleet ensured that the Vorlok had no chance of recovery. Throughout the battle, the human and Zorathian soldiers fought with unparalleled determination. The pre-battle rituals and the shared experiences had forged a bond that transcended species. They fought not just for survival, but for each other, driven by a common purpose and unbreakable resolve. As the last Vorlok ship was destroyed, a deafening silence fell over the battlefield. The once impenetrable Vorlok defenses were now a field of debris and wreckage. The Alliance had achieved a decisive victory, one that would alter the course of the war. In the aftermath, the Alliance forces regrouped and assessed the damage. Despite the heavy toll, the victory at Targos marked a turning point. The Vorlok, once seen as an unstoppable force, had been dealt a crippling blow. The Alliance's resilience and unity had proven to be their greatest strengths. In the command center of Elysium Prime, General Rayner and Admiral Zendar gathered their top strategists and commanders to finalize the plan. Holographic displays showed the formidable defenses around Vorith, layers of orbital platforms, a massive fleet, and ground-based anti-spacecraft weapons. "This is it," General Rayner addressed the assembled leaders. "We either end the war here, or the Vorlok will regain their strength and come back stronger. We must be prepared for the toughest fight of our lives." Admiral Zendar added, "Our forces will need to penetrate their outer defenses, secure a foothold, and then deliver a knockout blow to their command infrastructure. We will divide our fleet into 3 task forces. The first will engage their orbital defenses, the second will target their fleet, and the third, our ground assault teams, will land on Vorith and take out their command centers." Captain Hayes and Commander Villar were tasked with leading the ground assault. Their mission was to breach the heavily defended Vorlok capital and disable the planetary defense grid, paving the way for the Alliance fleet to strike the final blow. As the combined fleet approached Vorith, tension hung heavy in the air. Soldiers, pilots, and officers performed their pre-battle rituals, steeling themselves for the confrontation ahead. The human and Zorathian troops had developed a mutual respect and camaraderie that was palpable, a testament to their shared struggle. The battle began with a massive exchange of fire as the Alliance fleet engaged the Vorlock orbital defenses. Explosions lit up the sky as laser beams, plasma bolts, and missile salvos tore through space. The Alliance's hybrid ships, with their advanced shielding and weaponry, pushed forward, taking out key defensive platforms and opening a path for the main assault. On the surface of Vorith, the ground assault teams landed amidst intense anti-aircraft fire. Captain Hayes and Commander Villar led their troops through the chaotic battlefield, navigating treacherous terrain and engaging Vorlock ground forces in brutal close-quarters combat. The air was thick with the sounds of battle, the roar of explosions, the crackle of energy weapons, and the shouts of soldiers. "Forward!" Captain Hayes shouted, rallying her troops as they advanced toward the Vorlock command center. The Alliance forces moved with determination, using cover and coordinated attacks to overcome the Vorlock defenses. Commander Villar coordinated the air support, directing Zorathian fighters to target key enemy positions and provide cover for the advancing ground troops. The synergy between the human and Zorathian units was seamless, their combined tactics overwhelming the Vorlock defenders. After hours of relentless fighting, the Alliance forces breached the Vorlock command center. Inside, they encountered fierce resistance, but their superior training and determination carried them through. Captain Hayes and Commander Villar led the final push, taking out the last of the Vorlock commanders and securing the control room. In the aftermath of the battle, General Rayner and Admiral Zendar convened a summit on Vorith to formalize the terms of surrender and plan for the future. Representatives from both human and Zorathian governments attended, along with delegates from liberated worlds and neutral factions. The goal was to ensure a lasting peace and to rebuild the galaxy together. "We have achieved a great victory," General Rayner said, addressing the assembly. "But our work is not done. We must rebuild what was destroyed and ensure that such a conflict never happens again." Admiral Zendar added, "The alliance between our peoples has shown what we can accomplish when we stand together. Let this be the foundation for a new era of cooperation and mutual respect." Efforts to rebuild Vorith and other war-torn worlds began immediately. Human and Zorathian engineers and scientists collaborated on massive reconstruction projects, using advanced technology to restore infrastructure and provide aid to those affected by the conflict. Cultural exchange programs flourished, fostering understanding and unity between the two civilizations. Back on Elysium Prime, the soldiers and officers who had fought so bravely were honored in a grand ceremony. Captain Hayes and Commander Villar were awarded the highest honors for their leadership and valor. Their bond, forged in the crucible of battle, had become a symbol of the Alliance's strength. As the galaxy began to heal, the lessons learned from the war shaped a new vision for the future. Humanity and the Zorathians, once strangers, had become steadfast allies, bound by their shared experiences and sacrifices. The 1,000-yard stare of the Zorathians, a reflection of the profound impact of human resilience and determination, became a reminder of the power of unity in the face of adversity. On Elysium Prime, the newly established Interstellar Council convened its first meeting. Representatives from human, Zorathian, and other liberated worlds gathered to discuss the future. The Council's mandate was clear: to promote peace, foster scientific advancement, and ensure the well-being of all member civilizations. Dr. Lydia Cross, now a key advisor to the Council, presented ambitious plans for exploration. "We have a unique opportunity to chart the unknown," she said. "By pooling our resources and knowledge, we can uncover the mysteries of the universe and share the benefits with all." Captain Hayes and Commander Villar, having proven their leadership in battle, were appointed to lead a series of exploratory missions. Their first assignment was to investigate a region of space previously deemed too dangerous due to Vorlock patrols. Now free from the threat, the Alliance's exploration fleet set out to discover what lay beyond the known stars. As the exploration fleet ventured into uncharted territory, they encountered strange new phenomena and alien species. Some were peaceful and eager to join the Interstellar Council, while others were more wary, having heard of the galaxy's recent turmoil. Each encounter presented new challenges and opportunities for diplomacy and mutual learning. One such discovery was the planet Epsilon Eridani IV, a lush world teeming with exotic life forms and rich natural resources. The Alliance established a research outpost to study the planet's unique ecosystem and to develop sustainable methods of resource extraction. This outpost became a symbol of the Alliance's commitment to scientific advancement and environmental stewardship. Meanwhile, back in established space, the reconstruction efforts continued. Human and Zorathian engineers worked together to rebuild war-torn worlds, integrating advanced technologies to improve infrastructure and quality of life. Education and cultural exchange programs flourished, helping to bridge the gaps between different species and fostering a sense of unity. One notable project was the rebuilding of the planet Ilara, which had suffered heavily under Vorlok occupation. The Alliance's efforts transformed Ilara into a thriving hub of commerce and culture. The once devastated cities were now bustling with activity, and the people of Ilara, grateful for their liberation, embraced the new era of peace and prosperity. The bond between humans and Zorathians, forged in the heat of battle, had evolved into a deep and enduring partnership. This alliance, born out of necessity, had transformed into a symbol of hope and resilience across the galaxy. Joint initiatives in science, technology, and culture flourished, showcasing the strength of their unity. On Elysium Prime, a grand monument was erected to commemorate the Alliance's victory over the Vorlok. The monument, a towering structure of combined human and Zorathian design, featured the names of those who had sacrificed their lives for the cause of freedom. It served as a reminder of the cost of war and the value of peace. The annual Unity Festival, held at the base of the monument, became a celebrated event across the galaxy. Delegates and citizens from member worlds gathered to honor the fallen, celebrate their shared achievements, and look forward to the future. The festival featured performances, art exhibitions, and symposiums, highlighting the rich cultural tapestry woven by the Alliance. Captain Hayes and Commander Villar, now regarded as heroes, continued to serve as ambassadors of the Alliance. They traveled to various member worlds, sharing their experiences and promoting the values of cooperation and mutual respect. Their speeches, often recounting the harrowing battles and the profound camaraderie that emerged from them, inspired many to uphold the principles of the Alliance. Educational programs were established to teach the younger generations about the history of the war and the importance of unity. Human and Zorathian schools exchanged students and faculty, fostering a deep understanding and appreciation of each other's cultures. These programs ensured that the lessons learned from the conflict would not be forgotten, and that future leaders would be prepared to build on the foundations laid by their predecessors. In the scientific community, joint research projects yielded groundbreaking advancements. Dr. Mei Ling and Taral, the Zorathian scientist, continued their collaboration, leading a team that developed new propulsion systems and medical technologies. Their work not only enhanced space travel and healthcare, but also stood as a testament to the power of combined intellect and shared goals. The Alliance's military forces, once solely focused on combat, now played a crucial role in maintaining peace and security. They conducted joint training exercises, ensuring that they remained prepared to face any new threats that might arise. The trust and camaraderie built during the war had only strengthened over time, creating a formidable force dedicated to protecting the galaxy.